the pledges we make as members of First United Methodist Church to support the church with our prayers, presence, gifts, service, and witness are more than words. They are a shared commitment to live out our faith and strengthen our community. Each story in this series reflects the unique ways these vows shape our lives and inspire us to serve God and one another.
My journey with prayer began in Hebbronville, Texas, where I grew up as a young acolyte. I accompanied a priest to prayer services, visiting communities. Those early experiences laid the foundation, but it wasn't until Vietnam that prayer became personal. More than a ritual, it became a lifeline. I remember the first time I truly understood the power of prayer. Years ago, during the mortar attack in Vietnam, I was staff sergeant in the Air Force, and the chaos around us was overwhelming that day. The bombardment was relentless. I hit the ground and began to pray, not just with words, but with my whole heart. I pleaded with God for protection, for answers, and the incredible thing, those prayers were answered, not just for me, but for the men around me. At that moment, solidified my belief prayer is the bridge between us and God, a direct line to one who holds all things. Over the years, prayer became a compass, whether at the Salvation Army, the food pantry, or even a coffee shop with friends. I found solace in connecting with God at the Salvation Army. I prayed with people as they came in, offering hope and healing in hospitals and nursing homes. I witnessed the peace that prayer could bring to them or to those in need. Even casual coffee chats turned to meaningful moments of group prayer where we thank God for His blessings. Now, prayer is a daily rhythm for me, whether I'm leading a service or simply sitting with friends. It's about inviting God into every moment. I tell people all the time, prayer is the answer. It's not about fancy words. It's about honest conversation with God. That's how I have lived my life, and it's what hope I have to share with others.
At First United Methodist Church, I've come to understand that presence is more than just being here. It's about living a life of service, love, and connection. As a greeter, I see my role as an opportunity to make others feel welcome, valued, and cared for, just as I've experienced here. I'll never forget the moment I walked into this church for the first time, feeling a little unsure. Someone came up to me and said, "No, honey, you can't sit alone. Come sit with us." That small act of kindness made all the difference for me, and I hope to pass that same feeling on to others. My journey of service began long before I came here. I've been a nurse for 47 years, starting in Abilene, Texas, where I worked in OB/GYN nursing. Later, I became a school nurse in Corpus Christi. Whether I was comforting a patient or caring for students, I've always tried to be a steady, compassionate presence for those who needed it. Now I bring that same heart for service to this church. From serving on committees to being a greeter at the door, I love being a part of this community and making sure everyone feels like they belong. This church has been such a blessing in my life. It's a place where I can serve, grow in faith, and connect with others. It's my goal to ensure that everyone who walks through our doors feels important, loved, and welcomed. First United Methodist Church is a place where presence truly matters. I'm so grateful to be a part of it, and I hope my story inspires others to show up and make a difference too.
When Gay and I joined this church in 1963, we were just 22 years old, with a small daughter and another on the way. We stood before this congregation and pledged to support the church with our prayers, our presence, our gifts, and our service. We took that vow as seriously as our marriage vows, and we still do. Over the years, we've had the privilege of serving this church in many ways. Between the two of us, with the exception of trustees and Mother's Day school, we have served on every committee that the church has. If the church needed us, we tried to say yes. We served in the kitchen, vacation Bible school, an annual conference, youth trips, sex education weekends for church, for youth. I taught Sunday school for over 50 years and even preached when they couldn't find anybody else. Each role has been a way to give back to the church that has given us so much. As farmers, our lives were filled with seasons of abundance and times of struggle. But through it all, God blessed us and God blessed His church. When Hurricane Celia tore through, we rebuilt our home and our church. When the congregation outgrew its facilities, we worked together to build a new sanctuary and an educational building. When those facilities no longer met the needs of this vibrant congregation, we came together again to build the spaces we worship in today. Hurricane Harvey tested us again, and once again we rebuilt. Each time our gifts were part of the foundation of renewal and growth. This church has been a constant presence, a place of hope and healing, not just for us, but for so many. When we faced personal struggles, the church nurtured us until we healed. And when the church itself faced hard times, we gave back, helping nurture it until it flourished again. We've learned that giving generously and trusting God spills over into every part of our life. It keeps our hearts open, helps us love more deeply, and allows us to live with peace and serenity. Supporting this church with our gifts is more than just an obligation. It's a joy. Through giving, we've witnessed God's work in powerful ways, and we're grateful to be part of a legacy that continues to bless this community and beyond.
When I think about why I serve, it comes down to connection. Connection to God, to our church, to this community. Service is where I feel most connected. It's something that I'm able to do right now at this stage in my life. My family and I don't have as much to tithe financially as I'd like, but serving allows us to contribute in ways that are just as impactful. I think it sets an example for my children. It helps them see how blessed they are and inspires them to develop compassionate, service-oriented hearts. I've been deeply involved in various ministries at FUMC. I'm on the Children's Council, and I co-lead the Believers in God program with Angela. This program gives our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders a space to grow spiritually before we transition them to youth ministry. We meet twice a month, alternating between fun activities and mission projects. We've baked for bake sales. We've assembled hygiene kits for the Metro Ministries group. We work shift as a pumpkin patch. It's been a real joy to watch these kids learn the value of service and for them to connect. I've also served on the youth council, helping wherever I'm needed, whether as a second adult preparing meals or supporting the youth events. My family is involved in the Metro Ministries as well. We've participated in nearly every opportunity we can this past year. Both of my boys absolutely love it. Jude even knows all the stations. Recently, we volunteered at the Agape Ranch for their Christmas store. We got to interact with the children while their foster parents shopped. These moments of service really have been transformative for us as a family. This church has been part of my life since I was 15 years old, and my family officially became members in December. Since attending an Emmaus weekend this past June, I have felt a renewed calling to step into service wherever I'm needed, whether it's helping with the pumpkin patch, leading mission work, or supporting Gail's mission team. Service has become central to my faith journey. It keeps me grounded, connected, and grateful, and I pray it continues to inspire others as well.
Witnessing to Christ happens in the little moments as much as the big ones. For me, it's woven into everything I do, from leading children's time during Sunday school to serving as a camp counselor at Methodist conference camps in Palacios. It's a privilege to lay the foundation for Christ's work in children before they transition to the youth program. Whether it's through small group discussions at camp or nurturing the youngest members of our church, I see these moments as powerful opportunities to witness. I've been deeply involved in the Walk to Emmaus program for 13 years, and I'm honored to serve as the lay director for the upcoming retreat in June. Emmaus has been a significant part of my spiritual journey, reigniting my focus and passion for ministry. It's shaped how I approach witnessing, showing me the importance of meeting people where they are and helping them grow in faith. Looking back, my own call to Christ began at Lakeview Camp when I was just 10 years old. That experience planted the seeds for my love of working with children and my desire to help them encounter Christ in meaningful ways. It's also why I'm passionate about growing the children's ministry. My vision is to create more focused, age-specific groups that meet kids at their level, allowing us to minister to them more effectively and help them build a lifelong relationship with Christ. Working at Methodist Day School is another way I witness daily. It's not just a job, it's a calling. Every interaction is an opportunity to share God's love, whether through teaching, mentoring, or simply being present for the children and their families. My goal is to continue growing our ministry, both in depth and in numbers, while using every opportunity to witness to Christ's love. Witnessing is about planting seeds and trusting God to nurture them. It's a journey, and I'm grateful to walk it with this church community.
At First United Methodist Church, the 5 elements, prayers, presence, gifts, service, and witness, are the foundation of our faith and community. Through prayer, we connect with God and one another, drawing strength and guidance for life's challenges. Our presence, both in worship and in service, reminds us of the power of showing up for each other. Generosity in gifts fuels the growth and renewal of our church, while acts of service extend God's love into our community. Finally, witnessing ensures that our faith is shared and nurtured for future generations. Together, these elements form a complete and vibrant expression of what it means to follow Christ.